So one of the challenges we have, one of the requirements of commitment that we didn't list here necessarily, but it's part of underwriting, is to ensure that before I can commit funds to you, if I'm the PJ, before I can give money, before I can commit funds to Lindsay's CHDO, I have to underwrite her project. Part of that underwriting has to be that all other sources of financing are firmly committed in writing, right? And so that's created a lot of angst for people. I can't commit home, I can't be the first one in. I can't be the first lemming off the cliff. I can't commit money to you until the other funding sources are willing to link arms and jump off that cliff together, in essence. Okay? That on the ground is a real shift in what has been happening in the program. Because a lot of folks in the past, particularly CHDOs, were used to going and getting a commitment for a project that really wasn't pulled all the way together yet, and then trying to leverage that commitment towards getting the construction loan from the bank, or getting the tax credits from the state agency, or getting, whatever other source. Okay? And so one of the things that we want to be clear about, PJs can still do something like that, what we're calling a preliminary home award. A PJ you can still work with your PJ to get a letter that says, we've selected this project through the annual action plan, we've begun to review it based on the assumptions that you've given us about the ability to get a construction loan from the bank for this much and this, that, and the other thing, that we're interested in doing the project, but it's not a commitment. I can't enter into a binding legal commitment for the funds until all other funds are also secured. Okay, doesn't mean they have to be closed, but they have to be secured. Okay? And so I can give you that kind of letter that's contingent upon other financing, but the really important thing to understand is that is not a project commitment. And that means that money doesn't count towards the 24-month deadline where the PJ has to commit those funds to projects or give the funds back to HUD. So this is really an informal administrative process that the PJ can do to help you leverage getting the other sources of financing, but it's not a commitment. It's not a promise that you can sort of hold on to forever. They're going to need to be time limited. They're going to need to have performance factors of, if you're not progressing towards a real commitment, the PJ is going to need to kind of, it's the fish or cut bait moment where they're saying, sorry, I got to move on to this project that's ready to go. But the preliminary award, to be able to have something from the PJ that you can take to the bank or that you can submit with your tax credit application to say, yes, it's real that I believe I'm going to be able to have this home money to make the project work as a whole, is still permissible within this preliminary award structure. But the whole point is, this is not, unless you met all of the conditions, this is not a commitment. This is a preliminary award.